to worry about me trying to shuffle while I'm driving. And when I am driving and doing tarot, I look little to none at the camera, and that's because of safety. And I do have both hands on the wheel. However, when I'm holding the card, obviously I'll be putting one hand on the wheel and one hand on the card. There's nobody out there that I know that keeps their hands on the wheel all the time. However, with that said, if it really bothers you, if it gets you nervous or anything like that, please do find another channel. It's okay, and I won't feel bad for you to go to another channel where you're feeling more comfortable and you feel like you connect with that reader one-to-one. Please do not come towards me and try to tell me how to run my channel, because you're going to get the nasty, and I've already forewarned you. Okay? If you do not like tarot at all, please do scroll away. I'm not reading the comments, even though there's some sweet people that wish me well, say hey, Victoria, etc. And just know from the bottom of my heart, I so adore you. But because there's so many trolls that sound like they're 13-year-olds that haven't gotten out of diapers yet, I don't look at the messages anymore when it comes to live. Until we can get that under control, I'm still waiting for Frosted Cupcake to come back around and, maybe Zoom with me or something like that, to where I can see your face and see who you are and see if you'd actually be a good fit as a moderator who could control the trollage going on during live readings. Other than that, or even the basic readings, but other than that, this is not a one-to-one reading. This is a general reading. What we're going to be doing today is anywhere that you have Libra in your chart, if this fits you, wonderful. We're going to be looking to see from now until the beginning of September, so let's say until around the 5th of September, how your health will be, and if there's anything I see that could impact your health adversely, then I will go ahead and tell you that. And so let's begin. For my returning Libra collective, thank you. For my subscribers, I appreciate you being here. For those that have never been here before, I do curse. Please be forewarned, and you are welcome here. Wow. Well, in the beginning of September, I don't see anything bad for you health-wise. I do see that, in fact, even heart health could be positive for most, okay? Heart health can be positive for most. So what do I mean by that? I mean that in general, I don't see people having, ill health when it comes to your heart. As a matter of fact, even if you do have ill health or suffer from heart conditions, possibly, and again, I'm not a doctor, possibly you could be on some kind of medication that improves your heart. You could be on some exercise that improves your heart health. You could be on maybe even taking a stress test or an EKG or an echocardiogram. For those that know what that is, those are all diagnostics that are looked at to see how your heart is doing. And perhaps this time around, if you have had bad health, perhaps your doctor will find, or your technician will find, that you have had an improvement, or that you're at least stabilizing, and therefore you can exercise, or your doctor can free you up to start maybe eating, a better diet that's more rounded and not so bland, whatever that means to you, okay? But your heart health is either improving or it's good to begin with. Oh my gosh, another heart card. So again, I'm not exactly sure why they're saying, this in reference to heart health, but let's go with it for a minute. Let's go with it. So what else can that mean? Well, that could mean someone that really likes to exercise, or maybe you were someone who really, really loved to exercise before, and you had gotten out of it, and now you're somebody that's going back towards your overall health. And of course, cardio, right? When we're running and we're walking, or possibly bicycling, swimming, anything like that is going to improve your health, Libra Collective. So because of that, maybe you've started back to your exercise regime that you maybe were not doing for a while. I myself have been known to start and stop, and I've come back around, and this time around, I'm using a machine I had not used before because I do suffer from social anxiety, that's diagnosed, and also the fact that I am an introvert, not an extrovert, and so because of that, I was sticking to certain machines that I was familiar with. But this time around, I'm just giving it as an example. Maybe you are like me and trying something new. So what is it I'm doing a little different this time? Oh my gosh, they have a rowing machine, you pull it towards you and your legs go in and out, and it makes you feel like you're actually on the water rowing, right? Rowing. And so, I'm at a light, by the way. And so basically, so I'm doing the machine, and you pull, everything towards you. And then as you're releasing, the tension you're releasing, it's working your arms out, it's working your legs out, etc. Because you do have to use the motion as if you are on the water rowing, your little boat, canoe, whatever you want to call it, right? And so that's the different thing that I'm doing this time around. I've already lost inches, but not where I want them. But we'll get into that another day. That's just the way it is. When you lose weight, you lose it where you don't want it first, right? But it is helping me, and it's improving I guess you could say my self-esteem, because it's like, oh wow, I didn't even know I could row. I didn't know I could use this machine. I didn't know that it was so fun to begin with. I really do enjoy it. So maybe you're going back to exercise that you enjoyed. When I was all the way to about, I want to say about a year and a half ago. So I stopped a year and a half ago is what I mean to say, so it won't be so confusing. I'll say it that way. A year and a half ago, I stopped doing my Pilates. A year and a half ago, I stopped doing my wall push-ups. A year and a half ago, I stopped, doing just basic exercises that I would do outside of the gym, including taking walks, right? And oh my gosh, you see the difference. You feel the difference. And it feels yucky. It feels icky. And so when you're going back towards your exercising, towards your regular, type of, calisthenics or whatever it is, running, whatever it is that you do to maintain your heart health, maintain your health, it doesn't feel good because your body's resisting. Your brain and your body are doing two different things. So what does it look like? Well, your brain is telling you, I don't want to do this. And your body is telling you, you need to do this. So until they become in sync again, it is a chore. It does feel like you're doing hard work, right? But whatever it is that you're doing, or maybe even, let's take it to another level. Possibly you are that person that maintains your health to the optimal level all the time, and you never miss your exercise. So whatever it is that you're doing for yourself, Libra Collective, is working, it shows, and it feels good. And I applaud you. Okay, let's move it. Let's keep it moving. Ooh, February. You know what? This came up before. There we go. Okay, so how much you heard about that I was saying before I lost connectivity. So I'm a big history person, but I don't do it every time, and I don't do it every day. What can happen? Well, for one, you can get diabetes if you're not careful. But pardon me, somebody doesn't want me to talk about this part. Maybe they're mad because I'm mentioning their cavities. Yeah, cavities. That's what they want me to mention, Libra Collective. So somebody has cavities to the point that you're going to end up needing some good care in September. So I would say watch out for that. Why am I saying watch out for that? Well, okay. Some of us, due to health or due to finances or due to not having insurance, dental insurance, again, we don't have the finances or the health insurance for dental. Last 3.5 years than it did before, and it was already expensive. Orthodontistry is not cheap. Get it. But what can we do? Maybe, and again, I'm not a doctor. I'm in the medical field, but I'm not trying to diagnose here. I'm just giving suggestions. Maybe, not so many sugary drinks. Maybe brushing, if you do happen to do the sugary drinks or sugary foods like cakes and things of that nature, you're into the sweets and stuff, maybe you need to double up on the brushing. Maybe you have to, bite the bullet and start saving money to go to the dentist. I'm not sure. We're doing tarot, but we are talking about our health, and somebody is going to need to go to the dentist. So what does that look like from what I'm picking up? That might mean an emergency visit to the dentist, to where you can't wait anymore. Okay, plain and simple. The decay, for that particular tooth has gotten to the point to where it's not holding anymore, and you don't have a choice but to go see the dentist or the emergency department for dentistry. Sorry, I'm just the messenger, and we are doing tarot for health. So that's what's coming in the beginning of September for some Libras out there. Hopefully only one, hopefully none, hopefully I'm wrong, but yeah. So don't be surprised if your tooth just doesn't hold anymore and you don't know what to do and you have to go to an emergency dentist appointment. The three of coins. With this one, what I'm getting is lung health. Now, I'm one of those, and again, I use myself as examples. So in the past, I've had problems with my lungs, right? Especially after the C, and we all know what the C means, right? I've had problems where if I'm going up flight of stairs, I'm okay. If I'm going 2 or 3, I'm winded. And it's not normal for me, but now it is. So lung capacity could be something that's really problematic for some. Right now in New Hampshire, for example, there's a lot more pollen in the air. I've shown you all the beautiful greenery. I've shown you all the beautiful trees that are about to turn orange and red and golden and everything else. I can't wait to show y'all when that actually happens. But for now, what we're getting is all the green. So all the overgrowth, as I'm saying it, I'm itching, is is releasing a shit ton of pollen that this Texas original girl is not accustomed to. So what does that look like? Well, besides itching and scratching and getting welts and all these other things that I've never had before in my life, it also comes along with not being able to breathe very well and to have problems with my breath. I get short of breath. I have to take more Benadryl, which is a bad thing if you want to be upright and erect, meaning you want to stay awake, right? I can't drive if I'm going to be on Benadryl. I can't go to work if I'm going to be on Benadryl. So that's not an option. So what happens is then I suffer with having episodes where my breathing isn't as great as I would like it to be. I'm at a red light. That's why I have both hands up. And so people can be experiencing shortness of breath. It may be because you have diminished lung capacity of some sort, or it might be because you get bronchitis like I do, or you have asthma. Whatever it is going on at the beginning of September for you, please do go see your doctors. Don't wait. Any type of, and I'm saying this as a disclosure, okay? Again, I cannot diagnose you. I'm not a doctor. Any type of pain in your chest, please go see a doctor. Sometimes there's different reasons for pains in the chest. One of the worst ones has nothing to do with your lungs and has everything to do with a heart attack. So I'm just disclosing that I am not a doctor. Please make good decisions for yourself. I'm at a red light again, so I can use my hands. But sometimes it's not our heart, and it just feels so bad. Like, we're trying to breathe and we're not able to completely. So if you feel anything like that in the beginning of September, you know what you need to do. If you don't have a doctor, go and find one. There are some clinics that work on a scale, right? A pay scale where they work with your income, and sometimes it's a low income income pay scale clinic that you can utilize. Don't wait too long. And of course, if it does get to the point to where maybe you feel like, you have a stuffy nose, you can't breathe, and now your chest is feeling, achy, maybe right up here, you feel, a lot of pressure, and it's with the congestion and the breathing issues. I mean, for all you could have an upper respiratory infection, especially if your face hurts. Again, I'm not diagnosing, I'm just stating that you might experience some of these things. If you do, please do see yourself to a doctor or your nearest emergency or urgent care. Don't let that go. I'm at a red light again. Don't let that go, because especially with any kind of infection, it can lead to something worse, like pneumonia and all this other stuff. You wouldn't want to do that, because then you will possibly have a permanent issue with your lungs. So you don't want to do that. And those who suffer with asthma, please, my dear Libras, please, 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 I'm asking of you to, sometimes if you are someone who is in a managed care, which is an HMO, and I know I'm going above my pay grade here as a tarot reader, I'm just talking in generalities. If you do have an HMO, you know that if you haven't gone to see the doctor in 3 months, they're not just going to write a prescription for you just because you call into the doctor and say, hey, I need another inhaler. So, be conscious. I'm at another red light. Be conscious of your health. Help yourself, to have good health in general, because most of us, especially females, are living longer than our predecessors did maybe in the 20s, in the 1800s, 1700s. We're living longer. But you don't want to live longer and have poor health, is what I'm getting at. Let's see if anything else is popping up that's related to health. No, the only thing that's coming in September and October has nothing to do with health. I'm putting my hand on the wheel, and I'm not gonna look. But as you can see, there's a king there. So that king, the King of Wands, is just telling me that they're heartbroken. They have hurt feelings towards you, my Libra collective. See yourself, how you fit into that equation. If this doesn't pertain to you, if you haven't broken someone's heart, or possibly just have someone who thinks you broke their heart in some way, then it doesn't pertain to you if you're happily married, for example, or happily coupled up. But in September and October is going to be a very important side note here. This has nothing to do with health in general, but let's touch bases on this for just a bit. What can happen to us when we feel heartbroken that does have to do with our health? Well, we think in secular, right? In circular patterns. We can't get out of that circular pattern. I'm at a red light. And depression can set in. Anxiety, because you feel like you're in love with someone, and maybe you didn't end on a positive note with that person, so it could bother you emotionally, which could lead to depression, anxiety, thinking all these thoughts, it's not a positive, right? It's not a positive. We always want to strive as well as we can, and as much or often as we can, to have a balance in our health, both mental health and physical health. So now what we were talking about, this last part, has to do with our mental health. And regardless whether we love or hate our cross watchers, or I shouldn't use the word hate, how about strongly dislike our cross watchers? If you're like me, you really, even the trolls that write these crazy things on the comments, I don't even hate you. I think that you actually have a mental health issue and you need to see a doctor, preferably a psychiatrist who has some straps for you and who will show you a padded room. But for the other folks, I really don't hate anybody. Even the people that have hurt me personally in my life, now I'm parked permanently, and have gone out of their way to hurt me, because maybe they had been hurt by somebody else, which, like I made that comment on that particular posting, I wasn't even there when you got hurt. Were you there when the first person that broke my heart? Were you there when, when my husband, the father of my children, started cheating on me, and I was hurt by that. You were not there. So why would you want to make me responsible for whatever hurt you in your life, and vice versa? Why would I be silly enough to want to put all that weight on you, being you in my life as a love interest, that somebody hurt me? That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous when you have good mental health. You can stand back and say, yeah, that is kind of ridiculous of me to make her or make him responsible for my past, right? That's when you know you don't have good health mentally, at least in one portion or area in your life, concerning, right? Maybe trauma, unhealed trauma. And the only way, and I'm going to be honest, there's only 2 ways you can heal from that. By a mental health provider who can sit down, who gets you, you're on both on the same wavelength, and can get you, meaning it doesn't matter what you tell them, they help you work through it, they help you, for everything to become rational within your brain as to what happened, whether it had something to do with you, didn't have anything to do with you, meaning you had nothing to do with it. Let's say you were a child. How were you responsible as a child for whatever happened to you? You weren't. Who was responsible was your parent, right? I've been a mother, I've been a parent, and sometimes I was a great parent, and sometimes I wasn't so great of a parent. I own that. But what I'm saying is, let's say, for example, me, that I have CPTSD. Whatever my parent did, that had nothing to do with me. The end result was it traumatized me, but I have a responsibility to myself for my great mental health that 95% of the time I'm going to have, because I'm responsible for that, because I'm responsible to heal, because I'm responsible that if I don't know how to heal on my own, instead of living in that and staying in that, I find a good mental health provider that works with me. Or I find someone like this, on YouTube, whom I can listen to, that has similar stories, and I can have an affinity to that and go, wow, if they could heal, I can heal. What does that look like? Where do I start? What do I have to do? How do I put that in motion for myself? It took a long time to get the finished product you see before you that I am. I was broken too. I was traumatized too. And some of that still comes back. It's called triggering. Some people trigger me, especially those who hurt me knowingly, for no apparent reason. It's like, do you hate me already? Just tell me how you really feel. So I get everybody, and I get the cross watcher. But at the same time, we've got to be proactive and help ourselves. We can't blame each other unless you're in a bad relationship that you're currently in. You can't blame anybody but that person. And moreover, I'm going to say something. Oh, get ready to hate me. And I understand that you hate me. I get it, because I wasn't always mature. Part of that, you got to own it. Part of the bad relationship you're in, you've got to own it. Because unless you're battered and you feel like you can't escape them because they would maybe come after you and beat you or whatever, and you don't know how to get help, which there are hotlines, people, there are hotlines, I'm just saying. But you've got to know how much is too much. Just like when I was a battered wife, I had to know how much was too much and start making an exit plan. So if you stay, you have to own that trauma that is being done to you, you have a way out, but you refuse to leave. Especially some of our men, our male counterparts, don't know when to leave. They think it's a sense of duty to keep taking this trauma because I can't abandon the marriage. So if you don't have good mental health because you can't seem to abandon the marriage, you got to think about that logically. Don't think about it just on a religious factor or peer pressure, meaning parents, siblings, family members, or friends that would maybe judge you, or even a church that could judge you. If you spoke to, I'm pretty sure, again, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm pretty sure if you'd speak to someone who had common sense and logic and wanted or was worried about your mental health and wanted you to have good mental health, they would want you in a safe place. And a safe place is never in a marriage or relationship where you constantly argue, where you're constantly fighting, where you constantly can't see how you're going to get through another day with this person, because every day is a battle. Every day is a new chapter of a different color, of a different hue that just gets darker and darker and darker, is all I'm saying. So you're in charge of your mental health. If you know this person just brings you so down, or is always patronizing you, belittling, calling you names, not appreciating you, belittling what you do bring to the table, to their life, or even diminishing the love that you have for them and that you share with them, or whatever you've provided for them, whether it's emotional security or a home, even, right? Or even sometimes financial security. Maybe they're a stay-at-home parent. And if they're not appreciating you, at some point, all I'm saying as a tarot reader, by what I can see here, is that if you are experiencing bad or negative things, you need to start talking to someone about it. You need to get help. And furthermore, you need to help yourself to have better mental health, because it's a trickle down, okay? It starts with anxiety, and then it ends up depression, and then, believe it or not, and you can research. I'm of the school of don't believe Victoria. Research, research, research for yourself. Research always for yourself. So what would I research? Well, I had researched what long-term anxiety and stress does to your body, because it starts breaking down your organs. And then it also gives you the extra fat that's on your body sometimes. Why? Because of the extra cortisol that your body's excreting constantly. So what does that do to you psychologically? It means a fight or flight constantly. And then it's also turning into an addiction of sorts. What do I mean by that? I'm not taking any drugs. Yeah, you actually are. The chemicals in your body, those the excretion of those hormones to your body constantly, your brain gets regulated to where if there's nothing to fight about, if there's nothing to be depressed about, you're not happy, because then you don't know what health looks like. You don't know what a healthy relationship looks like or feels like, and you're not accepting of that. Why? Because I'm so used to fighting. There's nobody yelling. There's nobody to fight with. Why? Because that's all you're used to. That's all your chemicals have gotten you used to. Because remember, these are they're automatic. Those excretions are automatic. So you may or may not know that you're excreting extreme amounts of cortisol. You may or may not understand from a medical standpoint, because you're a layperson, that every time you're getting into fights with these people that you're living with day in and day out, and there's never any peace in the house, that you're constantly excreting adrenaline. And the adrenaline is what was excreted when we were in the caveman days, because it was a fight or flight. Were you going to fight the damn dinosaur, or were you going to run to save your life? That's the same thing that you're expressing every time in the form of chemical and brain waves when you're fighting with someone constantly, just to get recognized, just to get heard, just to be appreciated or loved. So again, this has all been about health for you, my Libra, and I would never steer you wrong. But I do ask you, as a fellow Libra, don't believe me, even if I am telling you something that's accurate, in my opinion. Go ahead and, scroll down YouTube land and get your information so that you know that what I'm telling you is true, where all of the health concerns that could possibly come to you via arguments, disagreements, and just constantly being in an unhappy state could bring to you. Okay? Much love, much light to you. These are the things to be aware that may happen in September to some Libras. Heart health, keep up with your exercise, watch out for your lungs, and somebody needs to go to the dentist. Much love, much light. Till we see each other again, have a happy evening. Bye, guys.